idea that this is all due to my masterful curse. I'll make you taste even more of my curses. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Comics Corner. I am Mike, here with Johnny.
That was creepy, man. Just like this book, man.
And we are here reading Smashed, the 2019 horror collection by Junji Ito, written and art done by Junji. This was a...
It was a book.
It was a book, yeah.
Wasn't bad.
So what? So yeah, we'll get into it. So what it is
no, we're not. We're not getting into it. That's not what we're doing tonight.
As we previously read, Junji Ito's Uzumaki, which was more of just a longer form story. That one was like 13 chapters, but they were all. I mean, well, that one in its own right, especially near the end, kind of became like short stories with a tied together theme. This one, not so much. These ones are just 13 shorter stories. A couple of them tie together. In the middle. The Soichi guy, that young kid with the nails.
Yeah, I actually thought that was weird that there were some that were intertwined.
Those ones did move together, but...
You know, I just realized as you were saying that stuff that I don't think he knows how to end a story. That's an actual critique I have. I'm not trying to be funny. That's I don't think his endings are very good.
And I think we've had my actual critique too was he draws a lot of the same faces. A lot of the girls look the same, a lot of the guys look the same, and a lot of like the scream poses. Like I feel like if we were to like make a compilation of them, they'd look very similar. But you know,
I do like his artwork a lot.
Yeah,
I dig
it. There's some cool moments. Like that's the thing is a lot of these horror mangas they kind of build up to hey here's a cool like splash page or like a scene that happens, but. Yeah, this one, I don't know. We'll get into this. What would you rate this one, Johnny? While you're doing that, let me move this to see that we're actually getting a shadow from our previous stream.
I would probably give it a 7 out of 10 because it's not bad. Like I said, it's not bad. It's just not the best, and I feel like an 8 is giving it too much. Although the artwork was really good, I do think he's creative, so I give him points for that. He has a lot of ideas. I mean, you could write 13 short stories. I know everybody always thinks they can do better than somebody that they don't like, but do you know how hard it is to come up with 13 original ideas? Like, they're certainly original, just because they're not.
I can't even do one.
Yeah, I mean, it's more difficult than you think. So
So it's funny that you say.
I like his style, though. I do like it.
It's funny that you say 7 out of 10 because. So, this book. Here was my book. So I'll show this off real quick here. For each of the 13 chapters, I made these little tabs at the start of them, and I color-coded / wrote a number under them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot you mentioned that you wanted to do this. Yes.
I mean, you didn't have to, but it was more just a thing of this is what I was... with stuff like this, I kind of do with all my other, like, different, like, horror books, too, because a lot of the stuff that I like is, like, anthology-style, like, books, and... Sometimes, like, I'll get, like, a whole book, and maybe there's, like, 1 or 2 that I actually liked in it, so I usually would like to just, like, bookmark it, so that way, like, you know, I can go back to it and, like, find it real quick and just say, like, oh, hey, that's one that I liked, or I didn't really like this one, but it had, like, a cool image, you know? So this one I just went through, and, like, for each chapter, I gave it a number, on 1 through 5. So I actually, right before the stream started, I counted it up, so a perfect score would have been 65 out of 65. All my scores there add up to 43 out of 65, which comes out to, like, 60... like 0.66 repeating, so like...
Oh, if we round up?
Round up.
It'd be 70%, 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there you go. Perfect.
That is perfect, you're right, that's crazy.
And yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at, because like, even though I'm a huge fan of Junji Ito, like some of his longer form stories I really like because there's, you know, some good parts to it, although again, even with Uzumaki, if you go back to watch that video, near the end it did kind of trail off, and like we talked about, yeah, like it doesn't really end it. Like there's definitely cool concepts, cool images, cool interesting characters too.
What I did realize though was that like I think what is his style, his endings aren't really resolutions. Now that can be good. I still don't think they are good in this case, but like you can write, like Tarantino's movies don't really have resolutions.
Yeah. There's one of the ones that I really liked involves like a ghost flood, and that one just straight up just kind of ends with like the heroes kind of like walking off and just like, all right, well, I guess that happened, and like going up to live their lives, and like even still like that was one of the ones I enjoyed more, but it was just, I don't know, it started off kind of rough, like there were some rough ones there, and then in the middle, and then it kind of picked up near the end for me, but
Yeah, I feel like I actually didn't really even like one until the third or fourth. Like as we go through it, I'll be like, oh yeah, it was that one.
That's
But
definitely where it was for me too. Like
the first two were just kind
it
of like.
opens up. The second one I didn't like that much either. Yeah, so I guess we'll probably just get into it.
But I do think that each one starts off like, oh, this could be good. Like
Yeah, and like even the ones I didn't really outwardly like, there were still some interesting kind of concepts too. But I think we'll start hopping into it. Man, some good art too.
the art's pretty damn
Like right there. That is a cool just like splash page. There.
Oh, okay, wait. This was one of the critiques I had. I do feel like once you get because even Uzumaki, even though it's one story, each chapter does have its own kind of
theme usually. Like
there is
we're in the lighthouse for this one, or like
yes,
we're out in the forest, and
right. Or this one's about the snail people.
Exactly,
like there's. And that was the first night I tasted the flesh of a snail person.
Yeah, that's where that one.
Why that is so ingrained in my brain.
Let's never forget, man. Never forget your first snail.
I do feel like that once you get the gist of what the story is going to be about, you can predict the ending. Do you feel that way? Because I felt that way about some of the chapters of Uzumaki.
There was some where I'm kind of like, I know where this is going. Yeah.
Yeah, and I felt like I don't know. Again, like, well, could I be more creative? Maybe not. So I don't know if it's like a critique. Who the hell?
Oh, Junji Dose. Heard you talking mess about me on stream, boy.
Yeah, you know who we haven't bragged on in a while? Jeppy. Wait, you know what? I am gonna say because Diamond has been a lot better lately. We've been ordering stuff and it's been coming in. I ordered a couple. Actually, I noticed it probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. We're like, we got some stuff, and I was like. I just ordered that. I was like, I can't believe that's here already.
They've been catching up.
Yeah, the last couple weeks we've gotten our stuff, and actually, we got those Blade of the Immortals. Those just came out this week, so I'm pretty happy that we actually got them the week they came out.
Pretty quick.
Yeah. So not to derail, but just Diamond, we shit on you a lot, and you've been doing better. Also, when we've reordered damaged stuff, the reorders have been coming in. I feel like they've packed them better.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's actually on purpose or not, but like
I mean, obviously you'd wish that the initial one was that way too, but you know.
But I've noticed that the last few epics I've had to reorder, they've come in a more secure area of the box and tucked away with things protecting them.
Not just but you know, it's been better I think all around.
So Junji Ito will talk some smack about you, but Jeppy, you're okay right now.
Right now.
Thank you.
If you want to move it up slightly.
Wait, I'm gonna move me up slightly.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, so how do you know how old Junji Ito is, roughly?
And no, I know he started. I think it was in like the late '90s, maybe '80s. I forget when he actually started. Like,
was he probably younger than us when he started?
Yeah, I can look it up.
Look it up. Yeah, Google it. Google it. I still haven't told you the Google it story. I have to tell that one day. It's not for right now, but
he was born in 1963, so he is 57.
Okay.
I think it mentions here when he started. Mango.
Do we even get her? Oh yeah, Nami.
1987 was when he kind of submitted his first short story. So he was 25. Is that my math? Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, Johnny, we're falling behind.
I know.
We could be the next great mangakas.
No, I'm almost gonna be that age in 2 years.
You got time. Start your drawing now.
I'm gonna dye my hair this week so that I look younger. That does help. All right. So this opens with this chick Nami, and
what was the other title of this one? Just out of curiosity.
Oh yeah. You know what I did find was a little weird was that there were if you Googled stuff, there's different titles. For each chapter. Did you notice, or did you find that?
I didn't notice because I didn't actually double check. But I mean, because to be fair, I guess on that regard, it's just I'm sure just translation, like loose translation.
This is the official.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so we have.
I will only refer to this one as Blood-Sucking Darkness, or as I called it, Bat Boy.
I will only refer to it as this or that.
I gave little shorthands just so I knew, like, without even like opening, like I could go right to it. I'm like, what was the one where there was that Bat Boy? Oh, that's right, Bat Boy. Got a 3 out of 5. Let's see why.
Let's see why it did. Okay, so Blood-Sucking Darkness. So it opens with this chick Nami who she gets basically dumped by her boyfriend and then develops an eating disorder.
Yeah.
And within this eating disorder, I'm puking in the toilet there. She starts like bleeding, like there's blood.
Yeah.
And like in her vomit, and which could be dyslexia. I'm sorry. Wow.
Bulimia.
Bulimia. Sorry.
Will. What's up, Will?
Bill. Wait, did that happen before? And I was told not to call him Bill.
I think so. Yes.
I'm
sure
sorry. That was totally. If that was you, dude, that was like, yeah, it was a total knee-jerk reaction. I see Will, and I just want to say Bill. So sorry, William, if that was you.
Just means Willie got to come on more often, so Johnny will remember that.
Yeah.
Will, you ever read?
Heard that.
I forget. Will, do you read much manga? And if so, you read much Junji Ito? I'll wait to see a response real quick here, but
So along with the vomit showing up in her, the blood showing up in her vomit from her bulimia, she starts having these dreams, these really vivid like nightmares where she's like standing around and like it's raining, but it's blood. So I think he's laughing at me.
it happens.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I was harmless. I'm not trying to be a jerk. Yeah, wait, sorry, because we're talking. There was when I was a yoga teacher, there was a guy named James, and he hated when people called him Jim, and he'd walk in and be like, Jimmy! Sorry, James, I'm sorry. But like, every time, like, it was just... What is going on here?
Jimmy's giving you a message.
Sorry, my pops. Okay, so she's having these nightmares with the blood, and you figure there's gonna be like it's like a premonition for something going on in the story.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
see, and then there's this like dark figure like reaching out with his hand, right? Okay, so she wakes up. But then when she wakes up from the dream, she's covered in blood.
Yeah, like
okay,
weird spots on her.
Yeah, so and all these little things. So gross. That's why I had that dream. Well, that makes sense. So then, like, on her way to school the next day, she runs into this dude named Kazuya, but she doesn't know him, and he just, like, kind of approaches her, and he's, like, worried about her because she's losing weight, because she's now, like, bulimic, which is weird because he doesn't know her.
Yeah.
But he, like, kind of knows that about her.
This guy very much reminded me of, and seems to be a similar archetype of, from Uzumaki, the Jack in the Box boy, of here is, like, this kind of, like, creepy, like... he seems relatively harmless, but like kind of like just stalker from like, see, they're in the same like homeroom, or they had the same class together, so like he's like, oh, like I know you from there, I've just been liking you from afar, and takes interest, and definitely takes it a little too far, as we'll see. But yeah, like he likes her and notices that she's been losing weight since she broke up with her boyfriend.
Yeah, and he wants to win her heart over, because that's the story of all these things. Yeah, so the next night she has the dream again, right? Mm-hmm. And same thing, she wakes up, blood in her. Weird, right? Okay. Probably meant to say not that one.
Yeah, I figured, that Will reads, it's read manga, but not this one, yeah, so see if you like it.
It's good. You should read Uzumaki.
Yeah.
Really good. We did a review on it. So then the next day, or soon after, probably the next day, she's like walking to school and she sees dude again, and like he's on the ground, and all of a sudden he's like super skinny and thin looking.
Yeah.
Nice word.
Thank you.
Emancipated.
Yeah, he's no longer with us.
So, and basically what he confesses to her is that he's gonna start not eating while she's not eating. I don't know, to put guilt in her mind. Like, how did you take that?
Or is this the thing of like, hey, if you're gonna suffer, I'm gonna suffer too, to like show you like, hey, you should start eating, and like, it's like a hunger strike type thing of like you said, kind of like the guilting into it of like, all right, well, if you're not gonna eat, because I mean it's not healthy for you, then I'm gonna do the same thing too, and if you want me to get better, then you're gonna have to treat yourself better, which is kind of I mean not the best way to approach that situation, but again, like these characters usually like take the extremes of it, so like he's just very gaunt and thin and kind of wasting away, but he's doing it for her, so I guess that's good, but not really.
So then she ends up sitting and talking to him next time she sees him, and they're just talking, and he basically is like, hey, there's something I want to show you, which is
always good. Yeah,
good old
Please follow me to my weird cabin.
Yeah, so it follows him to the shed, and this is a weird image. They go in the shed, and boom, Batville, USA, the Batcave. As
literally,
one might. The Batman!
It's a young Bruce Wayne right there.
Your parents dead, shot in an alley, in the head.
Yeah, that's what happened to this guy. We don't see his parents, to be fair.
So basically, he's crazy, and he's like, yeah, they're my pets, and she starts freaking out, and he's like, telling the names of all of them, and she's not really understanding.
Slayer 99.
What's up?
Oh, no, sorry.
Hell yeah. We got more watchers.
Exactly, yeah.
The
We're
new.
here, for those just joining, we are reading
Wait, does that mean you were born in 99? So you're only like 21 years old? I need a verb describing something you do when cleaning your... Oh, the screen is cut off, so it literally says cleaning your... I can fill in...
Cleaning your room. Verb, sweeping. Dusting. Throwing away... Yeah,
Reimagining. Don't just say clean.
No, yeah. Sweeping, dusting.
Spiffing.
Spiffing it up, yeah. That's what all English speakers
Buffering.
say.
I'm buffering the bedroom. Buffer.
Waxing?
Look at my mouth when I say that. Buffer.
Yeah,
It looks weird.
That's the
We need the
natural-
slow motion.
It's the normal way to say it too.
I'm in a goofy ass mood tonight.
Dusting.
Dusting Hoffman.
As somebody who's been recently cleaning their room, I've been doing a lot of throwing away. Here's a good current modern word that people use a lot. Decluttering. That's I think it's all one word. That or decluttering. You're getting all the clutter out of your room.
It's definitely the first way.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say that looks bad with the hyphen. What? Very interesting. Yeah, you're welcome.
He doesn't sound too
See,
interested.
Didn't expect this level of
Usually can't pick up on sarcasm in message. But I got that one.
I think it's interesting.
I do, actually.
You know what else is interesting?
Junjito.
These bats.
Yeah, so, boing! I will indeed be able to finish my
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome. I didn't do anything. Welcome to the stream. Who are you?
It's the
Have
Noob
we
Slayer.
met? Are you a Pokemon dude?
No, I'm not familiar with Noob Slayer. But always welcome to have people here slaying their noobs and slaying their English homework. So.
Yeah. So anyway, she's basically like, what the hell is going on? And what he confesses to her is that the bats have been draining his blood. He's been willingly giving them his blood, which is why he's becoming so gaunt and gaunt?
Quickly too. Yeah, gaunt.
Yeah. So they've been sucking his blood and then going to her room at night when she's sleeping and like ingesting the blood into her.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, like regurgitating like a mama bird, just like here's some blood to help sustain you.
And then yeah, that's what's going on. So she freaks out and she's like disgusted and yeah.
What's up, Noob Slayer? Thank you for the follow.
Yeah.
Follow, like, subscribe for more ELA homework tips.
So she runs away, and while he's running after her, he gets hit by a train. He gets trained.
Yeah, as they're one to do.
So the bats then go and try to like reanimate his limbs, basically.
And yeah, and here is where it went from like maybe like a 4 or something like that to like it started kind of falling apart here for me.
Yeah, and so the limbs kind of start coming back together, and she faints, and then she wakes up like in her room, and like but the thing happened again. She's got all the bite marks and all the stuff, and basically the bats come back, right?
Yeah.
And so the bats come back. They break in. They're trying to ingest the blood into her. I mean, this is some like birds shit, like Alfred Hitchcock, right?
Yeah, the birds.
Is it
yeah,
Alfred
yeah.
Hitchcock?
Alfred Hitchcock. Yep.
Horror expert Johnny boy. And so basically, she runs away, and they're basically kind of guiding her back to the bushes, basically where he died, where he got hit by the train. And of course, she's drawn to this noise of "Help me, Nami, help me." And pretty creepy. I'll give him that. And so she finds his head,
Decapitated head.
yeah, and she has to help him, and
Scree.
yeah, then she gets attacked by a big bat.
Which is him. He turned into a big bat now.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes. Yeah.
I get that. Okay.
Do you? Is there something to get? I'm like it doesn't really.
Yeah, I guess the
make
face,
sense.
the eyes. And so she,
And then the dream became reality.
Oh, so she doesn't get swept away by the bat.
No. So it's like as
Yeah.
they're flying away, because like all the blood in their mouths, like as they're taking off, like it basically looks like it's raining blood because of it.
Rain Blood! Slayer wrote an album based off of this
Hell
20
yeah,
years
exactly,
ago.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, so I, it was a short story. It you know, basically that panel there is the creepiest with the severed head.
Yeah,
like that's what it comes down
face,
to.
Yeah, like getting into the bushes.
So would you gave it a 3 out of 10?
I give it a 3,
3
yeah.
out of 5. I'm sorry, 6 out of 10.
So Junji Ito definitely does lean more towards some kind of like humor, especially in some of these other ones are like definitely more like leaning towards like the humor ends. Maybe it's me. Maybe I like. I mean, I definitely do like when things kind of play a little bit more straight, like a little less silly in some degrees. Like the whole like bats going back and forth between the limbs, like keeping like bringing fresh blood to like keep it alive and stuff like that was a little silly for me. And then like him turning into a big bat at the end, I was like, all right, let's see what these ghosts are about. And it wasn't any better. It got worse.
No, this is an
worse.
awful one.
Yeah,
what did you give this, a 2?
Yeah, I probably could have done a little bit lower, but I mean,
yeah, the artwork. This would save. So yeah, so basically, the Ghost of Primetime. Yeah, this one's bad.
It's not that good. Local comedian found dead in streets. Huge smile on his face.
Joker, you're supposed to take those out of the deck.
More at 11.
Yeah, and so these two friends, and one of them's, one of them at the lunch table is like, hey, let's go see this comedy show, and the other one, like, doesn't ever, like, or you see the one who doesn't ever laugh or smile, the one that wants to go. No, he wants to take the one that never laughs or smiles.
Why are you so dour? You never laugh, you never smile. It's like, oh, fine.
So he's like, fine, we'll go to this show, and basically, these girls go up. They're the first start, or they're the opening act. This pair of chicks, and they go up, and they're like not funny. They're not funny, but for some reason, like everybody.
Oh no, wait, sorry. There was one that was on before, and this. I think one of the things I liked about this one is just this like non sequitur of these dudes like dancing on stage. Then he just like slaps them on the head. Huge laugh by the audience, like just.
Funny to me.
Very, very hokey, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. They're not.
And then so like the show is already. It's like some open mic night, like young, talented, like fresh, up and coming artists, and they're like like, oh hey, like why aren't you laughing? He's like, oh, I'm enjoying it. It just wasn't like, ha ha funny. It was funny, but not ha ha funny. And then next on are these two young girls,
and they're basically like, we're gonna take control over the world one day, and like that's kind of it's kind of weird. No, we're gonna take over the world, and so like they start telling these jokes, and like they're not funny, and like nobody's laughing.
Objectively unfunny, yeah.
But then like out of nowhere, one of the audience members starts like laughing like hysterically, like it's the funniest thing he ever heard, and they start telling more jokes of these terrible jokes, and like everybody in the crowd starts erupting. Like you got all these crazy, like it is very Joker-esque in there.
Yeah,
right?
Oh yeah.
So that like laughing gas.
Laughter as it spreads throughout the
everybody's laughing except this kid that we learned in the beginning doesn't laugh, right? Kesuki or something. And so like his friend who brought him there, he's caught up in the laughter, and he ends up he removes him from the audience, and he's like, we had to get out of here, right?
So this is getting weird, let's get out of here.
So they go back home, and basically, like, he doesn't even know why he's laughing, like, why he was laughing, but he's like, my stomach still hurts, and like, blah, blah, blah. And so they go their separate ways, right? But then on his way home, the girls confront...
Who could they be?
The twins from The Shining. And so then, like, later that night or the next day or something, dude goes back over to his friend's house with the chicks, and they're basically like, why'd you leave the show? And he's like,
are we not funny enough for you?
Yeah, and so they start, like, the friend starts laughing again, and they're, like, not saying funny jokes. God, this story sucked. And so, like, he ends up getting into a fight with him over them, like, it's just weird, so like he knocks him out, and he's trying to like get him to stop.
Like snap out of it.
Yeah, and they're like, so he takes him away from the girls, and he's still laughing hysterically, and
yeah, this is where it takes a turn.
So he. You take it. This is stupider than I want to say.
The kid that doesn't laugh, like he explains that he could see like spirits and like energy and stuff like that. There's this like. Just kind of out of nowhere, like we get this explanation of like, oh, he saw like their spirits literally leaving their bodies and like physically tickling you. So the reason that you were laughing is because like they were like tickling your soul, like so you uncontrollably were laughing, and then they spread out from one audience member to then like another one, and then another one, and then they're like spirits flying throughout the theater, just tickling people's souls and making them laugh, and that's how they're like basically able to like physically control them or manipulate them into laughing.
And so this kid's not like falling for it still, and his mother ends up getting attacked, and it's sad, and like him and the friend, and I think the mother survives, right? But the friend, he dies, right?
Yeah.
From like asphyxiation, basically, from laughing
like,
too hard.
Can't breathe.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, they're dead as hell. And so the cops show up, and they end up starting getting national recognition on the TV, and so they start telling their jokes, and it.
And then like the last panel, I guess like explains that their spirit's able to also go through the airwaves, so like now they're on TV and like basically taking over the world, and
That's the story.
End. Yep.
So is that the worst one? I think there was a couple 2 out of 5s, but that's boy howdy.
Yeah. The other 2 out of 5s, like I probably could have done.
That's worse.
I probably could have done like 3s, but like there were stuff for me that I didn't like as much. But I mean, yeah, this one I think was probably objectively kind of like the that wasn't that good. Yeah.
It's worse. You know what? It's worse than the chapter from Uzumaki.
Oh, the air. Yeah.
It's worse than that.
Air anime fighting. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so fortunately, and then for here, like Roar was actually like one of my
he
more
looks like the
ones.
dude from Uzumaki. It's a different hairstyle.
That's all of them. Like he's got like 5 hairstyles, like 3 faces, and like that's kind of it. But that's our boy Ito. So yeah, that.
So Roar.
Tickle Ghosts, I called it. It got it too. Probably could have been a 1.
Oh yeah, this is the one where they're getting lost in the forest, right?
Yeah. So we've got it opens up. We've got these 2 hikers. Just going through the forest. I guess they're friends. They don't really get too much on the backstory because right out the gate we hear a loud roar, and they're in the middle of like the mountains, like a forest path, and out of nowhere comes this huge torrential like river that just appeared out of nowhere and it's like carrying off people who are screaming. There's like debris in there, so like they think that like a village had been overtaken by a flood, and it all happened so quick. They just noticed, one face out of them as she's like screaming and floating by. And before they could do anything, they just try and chase after it. But by the time they kind of like round the bend, the river itself has kind of like
dried up,
and, but so much so that like when he's like going through the rocks, he's like, well, clearly like there's like torn up like grass and trees and stuff here, but there's no water.
Right.
He's like the rocks are dry. Like what the hell happened? So they're like, all right, well, this is kind of like thrown off our hike for the day, and like we've got to like settle up here for the night. They have story time. Turns out Glasses guy, it was.
Oh, he has a fear of water.
Exactly. Yeah. Like he was an orphan. He never knew his parents. His what do you call them? Foster parents. His adoptive family, would take care of him, but like they figured out like for bath time he had a fear of water, and never really knew why. He's like, all right, well, I guess. Yes.
Go on.
I was like, all right, well, good night. Yeah, enjoy that story now. Let's try to continue hiking tomorrow.
Yeah, so they continue hiking, and then all of a sudden the roar returns, and they notice, and this dude who clearly trained under Obi-Wan Kenobi is like, Flash Flood, get to the high ground! Might not be able to escape a flood, but you can definitely kill a Padawan.
Yeah.
So they get to the high ground, and it's like the same people, the same girl. They notice the same face, and so the flash flood comes through again, and now at this point they're and he like records it, but then they're like,
try to take a video of it, and then when they
there's no video,
oops,
go figure, yeah. So
because also at the beginning of the story, they're right before this happened, their compasses started wigging out. Like he's like,
they're talking about the magnetic field being weird.
Yeah.
So as they're walking on, they finally come across like a house, and so they're like, oh, we're saved, and there's this old guy, and so they explain what they saw, and then he explains back to them that what they're actually seeing is an illusion or like a fantasy, whatever, and because a flash flood did come through a village at one point and actually killed a bunch of people, including his family, like his wife and stuff, which was the girl that we saw. But
that was like 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah, but like ever since then, like it, like that, the ghosts of it like flash through the forest like every day.
Daily, basically. Yeah.
And so, and basically it like taunts him every day with him like trying to save like his wife who he can't save, right?
Yeah, so he set up the net across there in hopes that one day as she's passing by she'll be able to catch the net and hopefully save her, and maybe that'll kind of give him some solace and some peace.
So yeah, there's the net explains it. I would just be playing some volleyball.
After they hear the story too, Glasses guy's like, wait a minute, 25 years ago, parents or people killed,
yeah.
your son carried away in a flood. That sounds interesting. Boy, I wish I could find out more about that. But then, oh no, my magnetic box is going off. There's the fields are being messed with. There's a flood coming.
But yeah, no way. I think to go deeper into it, basically
yeah.
he was implying, or the guy said that he lost a son in the thing.
Yeah, in the flood.
Or no, he had a kid. No, he had the kid, but he gave him up for adoption because the kid was afraid of water after the flood. That's what it was.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Yeah, he survived the flood, but yeah, since then he hated water because.
So
yeah,
he put the kid
mother
up
was
for
kidnapped.
adoption, and then this kid is like, "Hey, I was an orphan 25 years ago, and I'm afraid of
Boy,
water."
that sure is interesting. Whoops.
Yeah, and
flood coming.
then the
Ghost
magnetic
flood.
fields. Here comes the water. Boom, it's going through. I built this magnetic field detector.
It's his box.
Pretty sweet for a hickey. Weird. I gotta stand. That seat's uncomfortable. So like the rope's coming, and she like passes like through the rope, but then actually like grabs it.
Yeah.
Grip. G.I. Joe with Kung Fu grip.
Exactly.
So
And he's like, "Good, you did it.
good.
Hold on."
And so he's trying to like get to her, and she like
Yeah,
slips
she's
away,
Trying to like move along the rope closer to them.
and he gets really close, and then she slips away, and so this time he like jumps back in like to go after her, and like as it like floats away, it does this thing where it disappears. Little whirlpool there, it almost looks like, and that's it. He's dead.
Yep. And
That
then
couple.
At the end here, it's just kind of him like thinking again about like.
Could have been my
Boy,
parents.
that sure was a coincidence of like.
Yeah.
I hate water. The kid hated water. Parents MIA. Well, I guess we're gonna just keep walking.
You gave this one a 4.
I liked it. I mean, so like even though it's kind of.
Okay.
So like the
you
whole.
can defend yourself.
The whole like coincidence
yeah,
of him like stumbling upon like all this and finding basically his father.
No, I'm sorry. Oh, you gave this one a 4 too.
Yes.
Okay, I was referring to the next story. You're still. I'm sorry. So
yes,
this one, a 4, I can get behind
Yeah.
that. Because it has like
It
a.
was like the cliche and kind of like hokey parts of like the whole like wait, you were talking about that. That sounds like my. Oh, well, I guess we can't talk about that. It was already happening. But like the whole thing of like the dad being like tormented by this and like spending like 25 years like trying to like
Save the wife.
yeah, exactly, and like free himself from like this like physical like these ghosts that are haunting him. Like there was something to that kind of resonated with that. That was kind of neat.
Michael has a net in his backyard to save ghost ladies from the
One day
magic
I'll
flood.
save them, man. But no, I kind of like that part of the story. Some of the other stuff, yeah, I could do it, dude. All right, so next one, Earth.
I can't believe you gave this one a
I
4.
like
That's
this one. This
I.
this is where it got wild, man.
Okay.
There's some scenes. So like before this, like
Hold on. I'm gonna use the bathroom.
yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah,
You tell me.
I was gonna say yeah. So thanks again everybody for coming in. Yeah, you're gonna cut out. Yeah, you got a funnel.
We have a new setup here, and I'm like, I can't navigate through the maze. Okay.
So going to the bathroom, may as well drink up more. Thanks everyone for coming out. We are talking about again Junji Ito's Smashed. This is his 2019 anthology book. It's 13 short stories. Johnny and I read it for the week. At the end of this, we're going to be choosing our next book for next Wednesday. I've got a stack of other books over there, mostly horror, Halloween themed, including, well, we'll probably take this one out, unless, more Junji Ito? We have Venus in the Blind Spot, which is his most recent, like kind of like standalone book. Like it's a longer form one. It's not like his anthology stuff that we're usually used to. Along with a few other, like we've got some DC ones. I got some Lovecraft stuff. We've got Lock and Key. But yeah, this one we're reading through is 13 short stories. If you missed it at the beginning, overall, I think we both had it at a 7 out of 10, which is kind of a little bit lower because I think we both had Uzumaki like at like 8s, 9s, if not a 10. Like Uzumaki is really solid. Although that requires kind of overlooking a few chapters that were not so solid. And with this one, I feel like we definitely got that again of, man, those tickle ghosts. Wasn't that good, man? Like, it's interesting concepts, not necessarily like fleshed out in completely great ways. So, I don't know. That one we definitely weren't too hot on, and there's a few more coming up that I wasn't too big on, but like, for the most part, like it wasn't anything like offensively bad. And as always, like the art is solid. Like I mean, how are you gonna have a cover like this and not give it anything higher than like a 6 or 7? So, I don't know. I was pretty big on it, but why does Johnny not like this one? Earthbound is good. It was a good video game. I only played the first one and some of the second one, but or Mother as it's called in Japan. Alrighty, Johnny, I'm gonna need to find out why you didn't like Earthbound. Johnny, you don't play that many video games. You ever heard of the video game Earthbound?
Actually, I don't know anything about it, but I do know that is.
You ever play Super Smash Brothers?
Yeah.
Ness, kid with the baseball bat and yo-yo. He's from Earthbound.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say that might be. That's. I feel
Is
like
that why you like it?
No.
Is that why I don't like it?
No, I just when I saw that name, I'm like, oh, that's like the video game Mother.
So basically, one day, it's like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah. Well, here, let me, if I could.
Yeah.
Send this a little bit for you. All right, perfect.
Good.
Yep.
All right. People just kind of start freezing in the same position, like everywhere, and it's just out of nowhere.
Seemingly random spots around this town in Japan. Just people in weird poses, just stuck there, rooted in kind of a trance. They talk, but not. They don't really say much. You know, they ask to be left alone, in a kind of like delirious trance-like state. They're just kind of appearing around the country, and nobody really knows why or.
And every time they get moved from the spot they're in, they end up just showing up back there, like
day,
weirdly.
Yeah.
It's kind of So, yeah, it just started like happening, and like people just were stuck like that. Okay, and I mean that really is basically what's all that's happening here.
Yeah. And then cut to our main girl.
What's her name? There's two main
I'm
characters.
so bad at names.
I don't even think it's said it so far, but basically, nobody knows what to do. So there's this kid that she meets.
Well, no. So she works for an organization. Like it's basically like a volunteer group where they are kind of going around and trying to help.
Oh yeah, they leave them food and water
the crisis,
and stuff.
But also, like they're coming at it from an empathetic degree of like, hey, these are still people. Like we go around, we'll like try and talk to them. We'll talk to like, because family members are also like hanging out with them too, of like pleading for them to like snap out of it, come back. So like they leave them food for the victims basically, and also for the family members too. So. And
with this boy, he the position he got caught in, like where he had gone to the spot to visit like the gravesite of his dead dog, Ponta, which actually is relevant to the story. It actually matters.
Yeah.
So
she reports back to like her boss saying like, hey, like this one guy that I was I was visiting, like he was at the grave of his dog. So like maybe there's some emotional attachment to like the spot.
And they're actually trying to figure out what's going on, like they're like detective working it. So like dude's like, go and follow up with that. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, are you free for a drink after all this? You want to get something to eat?
That was kind of a little out of place for no reason. Doesn't really.
Yeah, not inappropriate. I would talk to the HR manager of whatever whatever nonprofit that she's working for. But,
the NPO Blue Sky, man.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was called.
Yeah, there you go.
NPO Blue Sky Society, the BSS.
That sounds like a cult.
So yeah, then she goes home the next day, and,
and
she walks in and there's this like figure there, and it's like stuck, and she's like who is that? And it's her boss, the creepy boss.
Which was also weird because of the fact that like she just left the office, so it's like, how did you beat me here? Like, what are you doing here? What's going on?
Yeah, and sorry, I kind of like that.
Yeah, there's some
cool, actually
cool shading on him. Yeah, because he's just like in the shadows there.
It's really sad, actually.
Yeah, as he should be.
Yeah, but basically he's like confused, like why she's there, and like it's at her place, and like. Oh, and they call everybody Earthbound once they get
they refer to it as they're like rooted in place.
And so he has no idea why he thinks that he's still at the office that she left, but then she's like, we're in my apartment, and he doesn't understand where he is, and basically like he's asking like she's asking if there's like a reason why he's there, like is there an emotional connection, because they're still trying to figure this out. And he reveals that like no, he has feelings for her, like that's why. And so that's like this is what's weird, like she just like goes to bed.
Well, I mean, like at some point she does kind of like come to terms with it, like, all right, well, I guess this is my life now. You're trapped in my apartment. I've got to go to bed. But she wakes up in kind of like a cold sweat, like coming out of a nightmare. And I think this is where she reveals the fact that like the reason that she moves so often, or like this is so traumatic to her, is because like at some point earlier on in the year, like she came home and like somebody like broke into her house and like tried assaulting her, and you know, fortunately she got out of it, you know, relatively unharmed, but like she's been traumatized by it, and like as such she feels like she can't stay in one apartment for too long because she starts like getting uneasy, thinking about like, well, what if this attacker like finds where I live now and tries to do it again.
And then the men in white coats show up and start trying to like remove the people. They're like a disease center, and like as they're trying to remove this guy, like his head like breaks off. Like basically like they started like decapitating, or they started like hardening almost, and it starts happening to everybody. Where like they like keep solidifying. Like it just like, but this wasn't happening before. Yeah, they're like, yeah, exactly.
And it's a new revelation to this like weird outbreak.
And so like as like she goes back to talk to that kid who was like stuck by his dead dog, and like as they're like talking, he reveals that the dog wouldn't have loved him because he killed the dog. Yeah. So like he's the reason the dog's dead.
So yeah, he was like grief stricken, and that's why he's there, and like she begins to like think about this differently. Of well, maybe there's people are at these spots because of like some internal guilt on top of like whatever sadness that was there. So we cut to other figures that we'd seen around. Like there's this older gentleman who's like standing outside by this basically like was it drunk driving? I forget what it says there.
Yeah, hit and run.
Hit and run, yeah, that's right. Like a memorial for a young girl who was killed in a hit and run.
Clearly he killed her.
Being that, yeah, he was the one that did it, so that's why he's there.
And then there's this guy's by a skull, so he probably murdered somebody.
Yeah, dude,
this one's crazy.
Yeah, like
the abortion.
Just yeah.
Or
like,
I guess that would be an abortion.
Or just like like whether it's stillborn or like, killing her baby. Like there's a woman like outside of like her.
This guy probably robbed the bank.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we see her going back to dude, because guess what that probably implies? If he's stuck. Because they thought that there was an emotional connection to the place that they wouldn't leave from.
Yeah.
And so.
He reveals that, hey, all those nights ago when you got attacked, it was me. Like he basically says like he's like a serial like rapist. Like the stuff that these like have been touching on, like, and especially like this one in like such a short time, like it takes like such a flip that. For me, that was kind of interesting. Like, I wasn't expecting it to go that way. Even when it came to Uzumaki, like, I remember one of the big ones for me was, if you remember in the Uzumaki, the Lighthouse one, like, up until that one, like, there's been some crazy stuff that was going on, but, like, in that one, like, those kids died.
Like, in which one? I'm sorry.
In the Lighthouse of Uzumaki, remember?
Yeah, that one was fucked up.
Like
there it is.
So yeah, exactly. Rightfully the right one to use it on, but like the fact that like it kind of like takes a turn on like these topics or things that happen that you wouldn't necessarily expect. I feel like that's where I kind of give it some props to. Of like, man, like we just like had in that one scene like a hit and run that killed a kid, like a weird like abortion or like infanticide, another murder, like the robbery stuff, like it, and then this guy like a serial like assaultist, like sexual like. Assaulter that's like, all right, well, I guess I'm just gonna like leave my house then, and then so like the last scenes are of him kind of like coming to terms with it, and her just being like, all right, well, I guess I'm leaving. I know,
I don't like that she's kind of just like, all right, I'll leave you to be.
Yeah, that's one of the things where she does kind of like take it like
pretty well.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then he ends up. Is that him then? Are we assuming?
Well, I mean, that's like like all the different like bodies.
That's not him.
Too,
that's not him there.
I think that was him. Yeah, because that was the pose that he was in.
But it's why is he in a different spot?
They craned him out from the like the apartment building.
Oh.
So yeah, like at this point, like in the story, like all right, everybody is basically turned to stone, and they're like finally removing them. But she's left with the lingering feeling of like, well, even if I leave, still never gonna have like a normal life, basically.
Death row doorbell.
Mm-hmm.
So, this chick is home and she gets a phone call from a random person.
I hear you like scary movies.
Yeah, basically that, and that's actually what I thought. And he's like trying to apologize, and he wants for something. He's like, I want to come over and apologize, and
we see a brother.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot this one like flashes back. So I was like, wait, did I skip a few pages? Yeah, no. So basically, it's this guy like being like, I want to come and apologize, and she's like, no, like do not come back, do not come back. And then her brother comes out of nowhere, and he's like, we can't let this guy back. And so we're like,
a crutch, a broken arm, like an eye patch. So like the presumption is something bad happened to this guy, and the guy on the phone is looking to apologize for it, but they don't want him to.
Yeah, and so shadowy figure shows up, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, and then all of a sudden he just shows up in the house, even though like he
doors locked, windows locked,
and he's like begging for forgiveness, and they're like, get out, and then he kind of just like goes up in flames. And just like disappears. And that's it. So they go and bust into the room, or they go bust into her mom's room, and the mom is like, hospitalized basically, like in their home, and there's a picture of the family. So we got one daughter and a brother and a mom. So we're missing another kid and a dad.
And we find out quickly after what happened. So
we get the flashback.
They were on like a family vacation, just driving around in the countryside, and during their trip. On the road, they get approached by this motorcycle gang that just kind of approaches them out of nowhere and also starts attacking them out of nowhere. Like, he smashed through the window of the car like veers off the road. The daughter that we see, like, she ran out of there alive, but she talks about the fact that, like, unspeakable things happened to their family, like that killed the dad and the younger brother. The mom, ended up in like basically like a coma, like in a catatonic state afterward, and the brother has been like, kind of disfigured too. Something happened to his eyes and arms and legs. So they were able to apprehend the gang, and the gang leader we see is the same guy that showed up at the door step. This kind of like
it's got them butthead gums going.
Looking fella, and during the trial, like he was like laughing and like very no empathy or sympathy for what he did. It wasn't until he was put into jail and on death row that they started receiving these letters from him that were like seeking forgiveness and trying to like make amends for what he did, but they're like, it's too little too late. Like he's probably doing this like as a plea bargain to like get out of death row. We don't want to do, or he's even taunting us, he's just trying to pretend like he cares now, but eventually they had to tell the prison to like, hey, stop having him send these letters, like this is kind of getting out of hand. But the last one they sent said like, I'll meet you in person so I could beg for forgiveness.
Yeah, and then he all of a sudden after like they get the prison to say like that they're not going to let him send letters anymore, all of a sudden they start, and the letter started saying, and you might have just said this, that they're saying he wants to show up in person. So then all of a sudden they start getting phone calls after that, and it's basically what we saw in the beginning, like this dude being like, I come and apologize, and the dude shows up, and they end up calling the police, and they're like, he's still at the jail, like he never got out, and they're like, you got to check again, and
maybe it was his twin brother, maybe it was somebody else like pulling a prank on him, and it's like, no, it's got to be him.
Yeah, and basically this starts happening every night. It's like a recurring thing. So like he keeps like showing up, and like every night, that's what we saw in the beginning, and basically at this point what happens is like he shows up and he like begs for forgiveness, and the son is like, oh, you want to be forgiven? Like, okay, like, get on your knees and beg. And then he's like basically gonna curb stomp him in the living room without the curb, and so he kicks like through the dude's head. And then he just starts like beating, and it's like still talking like as it's like smushed into the ground, and so like
beats him into like a literal pulp, and then afterward he just kind of like
evaporates
again. And then next night,
that was the first of many nights where I thought I would lose my mind, and so after that it shows up again.
Yeah, so like night after night, the sun.
The vibe I was getting at this point was like he like basically like his soul is damned and he's like tortured, which is why he wants the forgiveness so his soul can rest. And the brother seems to start enjoying the fact that he can just beat this thing to a bloody pulp.
For him of, well, you killed my brother and my dad and basically like my mom, and you ruined our lives. Like, I'm gonna just keep taking on you night after night.
And the sister like wants it to stop, and so eventually she's like I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. Like, stop coming back. And the brother's like, no, you can't forgive him. Like, I want to keep, like, killing him. And then,
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
just,
it goes on. This goes on for
why
a
was
few
he
nights.
crying here?
I mean, because it's just like, just the madness of it.
Yeah, okay,
You know,
okay.
He's just like losing his mind, and so much so that one of the nights he eventually just hangs himself and kills himself. So now it's just the mom and the daughter that are still alive.
And then the dude comes back again one more time, and he's doing the please forgive me. And he was, she's like, I did forgive you, and he's like, you have to mean it sincerely.
Mm-hmm.
And she ends up killing him like her brother was, just smashing the body into a pulp. And and then his the actual man was like on trial. So 'cause remember, like his body was still like in prison, like it was just like his spirit showing up, and so like his trial finally ends, and he's like sentenced to death. He gets the death sentence, and so
yeah, he ends up being executed. But during this time before the trial is done, the mom passes. Like she's no longer able to hang on, and soon after his death, she hears a ding dong at the door, expecting that it's going to be him. So she reaches for the bat, but no one tonight.
yeah. So after the body died, that was it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Bobby Hill. You gave that a 4 out of 5. Why? Or no, you gave it a 3.
I gave it a 3.
Yeah, it was just kind of like
It
pointless. Like
was
that's
an
what I didn't
interesting one,
like.
but yeah, I mean, like it doesn't really. Yeah, I mean, like the fact that it ends. Like, I mean, it's interesting because we get to see like, all right, well now she's just like traumatized like for the rest of her life. Like she.
I just thought it was weird that the brother was enjoying it so much and then killed himself. That was just kind of out of nowhere.
Because I think it was a thing of the catharsis at the beginning of like him getting to basically like night after night kill the killer of like their family members and the ruiner of his life. But then eventually like it just seems pointless to him maybe, or like he's just losing his mind because like it won't end. Like even though he's like gotten it all out and killed him, it's like, all right, well we still have to deal with this, and I guess he couldn't take it anymore between that and the grief. Yeah.
So then we got the mystery of
Hell
the
yeah.
haunted. This is where the 3 that intersect start, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next 3 chapters and stories actually do intersect, which was like a little interesting.
One of these was good. We'll find out which one.
So the haunted house, the mystery of the haunted house.
Mm-hmm.
So these 2 kids basically come to
A
show.
small rural town. And
Yeah, I'll let you take this one if you
Sure,
want.
yeah. I was gonna say a haunted house basically starts rolls into town like very Carney style of like hey like we're a traveling troupe advertising this haunted house, and like this is the guy who's running it, and just this sweet cigar chomping big smile. Hey kids, want to see a haunted house? Come on over. We're at the edge of town. So they travel over to the edge of town. There's already people there. There's a big commotion, and they're yelling about the price of entry. So the ticket entry is, I think it says what, 100,000 yen?
10,000
yen.
Yeah.
Which usually the rule of thumb from yen to USD is chop off 2 zeros. So basically they're charging $100 for admission, right?
I didn't know that. Good to know.
There you go.
Okay.
So they're like balking at that price of why would we ever pay basically $100 USD admission for this this haunted house? He's like, oh, it's the scariest thing you'll ever see. How about this, sir? If you don't like it, I'll let you get in. You pay it. If you don't like it, you come back out. You get a full refund. It's like, oh, all right. Well, I guess I'll do that. That sounds reasonable. He goes in, and then like a few minutes later, he comes out screaming. What the hell was that? Like just running out, losing his mind. So the carnival barker, smiles, knowing that he, scary. Later on, the police show up, like that they've been hearing like these, we've had people like running out screaming, people like going missing, not showing up, not being the same. I'm here to investigate. Like I heard that there was like a child tied up in there. So the carnival guy's like, all right, well, go on in, take a look for yourself. Everything is up to snuff. I'm sure you'll see that it's perfectly fine.
Snuff, I like that. So yeah, then these 2 kids decide they're gonna sneak in because
Naturally, yeah.
screw that $100 admission
I can't
price.
afford that, but I want to see what's going on there.
Yeah, so they end up getting there, and that policeman's bike is still there,
Mm-hmm.
and they start hearing some noises coming from the inside.
Late at night, like what's going on?
And so they go inside, and it's that guy, or they're close
They
inside,
get caught by that guy.
and
Hey there,
they're
boys.
he's like, "Oh, you want to go to the haunted house?" And he's basically like, oh, you're gonna sneak in? You got guts. I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll let you guys go in because you're gonna sneak in.
One time only. Take your time, enjoy it. I think you'll like what you see.
So they go in. And so go in.
So one, I thought it was kind of a cool shot. Like I like the way that it looked inside here, but it's just this row of like seemingly severed heads, but they're mostly like paper mache, like foam, like clearly not real, kind of kiddie and childish. But then they get to the end of it, and there's like, well, this one actually looks kind of real.
Boom! Comes alive. Vengeance. Ho 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 ho. Sorry for scaring you. So basically, it's this woman and there's her severed head saying that her little brother's the one who.
Yeah, the head of the carnival barker, right? Like he's the one who's running the show, and this is his big haunted house. Hope you enjoy it. And they're like, no, that was just like a lady with her head, like she was like hiding behind the table, like with her head on there. It's like that wasn't that scary.
So then they approach this like older woman, and boom! Oh, she's old, and it's the mother. Welcome to my son's haunted house. Up ahead are visions of hell, and so they're going up to hell and inside the
the sign that just says hell ahead.
Yeah,
so
and
good.
then Hell of Blood Lake, Hell of Needle Mountain, and this is the father, and he's
hey, I hope you like my dad. I hope you like my kid's haunted house.
Yeah.
It's so supportive. It's so good.
So you want to bet who shows up next? Older brother,
Yeah,
maybe?
older brother. Wait, yeah. Oh, hold up. It is the older brother.
Yep, and he's
It's like
nailed to a
crucified,
cross
yeah,
with,
shot with arrows.
yeah, Hell of Crucifixion.
Mhm. But here we actually get a little bit more exposition, and he tells us that like the younger brother, since a young age, was like very kind of like dour and macabre and rebellious, and started kind of dabbling in the dark arts. He started like learning magic. And eventually he ended up marrying this woman who had more magic powers, and they had a son.
Bastard he made with a random woman. And then dude shows up and basically is like, shut the hell up, brother.
I didn't ask you to speak. Yeah, nails like fly into. Do they hit him, or they hit the coffin, or they hit the cross? And he shows a toothy grin that has a bunch of nails, like where some of his teeth should be. Which is creepy. Just spitting nails. That's not good.
And so then they go and approach the son, and it's basically he's eating the policeman.
Yeah,
he's
they go to
he's
the
a
next
carnival
room.
or a
Cannibal.
Wow, at a carnival.
Carnival cannibal.
So this is pretty creepy. I'll
Oh,
give him
yeah.
that one. Like
That
this is probably
To be
the.
fair, that is like an iconic
Yeah.
Junji Ito image.
That's fucked up. I don't care. That's fucked up. I'm saying
You're
that
not
again.
wrong.
And so basically the kid is a cannibal, and obviously he's
we
chained
see,
up, and
the
he's
weird, like mutant child between Suishi, who is the carnival barker, and his monstrous mother, with these rows of teeth, and chases them down, trying to like eat them. Again, pretty effed up. This may as well be the same as like the lighthouse one.
That's true.
As they're trying to run away, the friend gets tackled and bitten into and screams out in pain.
Satoshi.
And the other kid takes as this moment to like run away, dodging nails that are being spat out at him by Suishi. And they make it out like outside into the woods, and he falls, and he's got him cornered. I've got you now, kid. But wait, what's this? Uh-oh, Mama's home. This like 7-8 foot tall woman looming over there, saying like, "Oh, I found you. You tried to run away. I caught you this time. Next time it's not going to be so good for you." But she carries him off into the distance, and the kid's like, "Well, I made it out alive, but I guess the police officer and my
Satoshi would
my
never
friend
have-
are dead."
So wait, but that wasn't the mother, I thought.
No, that's
Is that the same mother?
that's the wife. He married her, and they had that shark baby shark.
Got it. That's creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Okay, now we get to part 2, the
So-
mystery of the haunted house.
And so with that one, the
first.
previous one, real quick, that one I gave a 5. Like to me,
Yeah.
that was like I like the story. I dug the characters. Like some great art. Like I like how it went from kind of like campy, like hey, welcome to my son's little haunted house, to straight up here's this monster child that just ate a police officer and now just ate your friend. Oops.
Yeah.
Like to me, that felt like very peak Junji Ito in terms of like there's a little bit of camp, but also like just it was actually pretty creepy too. Iconic images and just an interesting story. and then we get that's what I called like the haunted house remix, because here is more of Soishi's uh, take on this, or like we get to learn, basically we get more backstory on it. Um, and I don't think it needed the backstory,
No.
and I feel like this one kind of undoes some of what I liked about the first one. So I give this one a 2. But basically, it follows this girl who is trying to find out what happened to this family and these people. So she goes to this village where she last heard that they were inquiring around about it, trying to get more info on it. But as she's staying there, she comes across this kid that's running around being noisy, and she notices when he trips and falls, he accidentally spits out nails, and that's weird, isn't that? But she recognizes that, like, she'd seen that before, and to her it's strange, but not as strange as it should be. So I think we kind of know that, like, she knows a little bit about what's going on.
And it was was Soichi, was that his family?
Uh,
No, it's not. It's a different family, right?
Or yeah,
She's
I
looking
think
for.
she's looking for a different family, but in doing so, I think she knows that it's tied to, like,
This haunted house.
yeah.
Yeah, and so but she knows
She recognizes
the
this
youngest
kid.
Soichi, the family I'm looking for. He's
Okay, so it is the family that's missing. Yeah, that it's the Suichi family that's missing. And she recognizes that this kid is, like, almost suffering from the similar. He's got, like, the weird nail thing. He's kind of macabre boy. But she knows, like, she basically is looking for Soichi and the family, and knows, like, the weird stuff that's kind of surrounded them.
and there's this traveling haunted house
Mhm.
that's around them, so she knows, like, there's
She's basically
that.
trying to chase that down.
Yeah, and she finds this, like, she just keeps coming across these, like, kids. It's kind of unnecessarily weird. It just doesn't have any fucking rationale to it. She gets attacked by this dude in the forest while she's, like,
Yeah.
but
Who's like running away from the haunted house, like,
Yeah.
traumatized, like, please help me. And then she, like, name drops who she's looking for, and then, like, he is kind of weirded out by that and turns away and just runs off.
it's just so weird. Because she just kind of goes with it. Like,
Yeah.
this crazy dude, like, bleeding from his eyes, and he's
Mhm.
like, my family, like, he has, like, my family. And so he brings her back, basically, to the haunted house.
Mm-hmm. Which, again, kind of like we saw before, is like, here's
Yeah.
this, like, paper mache, like,
That's the entrance.
like we kind of know already at this point, like, what's going on in there, so it's not as much of a shock. But then we see that, like, Suichi's using this guy as, like, almost like bait. He's just kind of, like, torturing him, like, the old dude, like, refers to him as like master. And here's where we kind of start finding out more that this girl, she knows Suichi. She, in fact, grew up with him. Like, they were neighborhood friends. And that's where it kind of begins to unravel, because then we find out that the guy that she's beating up was also one of the friends. First she goes upstairs, sees Demon Child, but she also is confronted by a girl up there too.
God, this is creepy.
Yeah. Like she knows that this is, Suichi's here. This is your kid. Like, she's tracked him down and trying to, like, talk some sense into him, basically.
I'll say hello once I eat her organs. And then that
Gets
dude.
attacked by
The dude who.
scraggly looking
Kurochi. No, Koichi.
Mm-hmm. And then she starts, saying, like, hey, we used to be friends, stop attacking me, like, you're in there deep down. Remember the good times that we had eating watermelon and, like, having fun in the park?
Shaved ice.
Yeah, the shaved ice.
Yeah, and
She's able to plead some sense to him, so much so that he becomes handsome again. Like, I like that. That was so weird. Like, he went from, like, this, like,
bleeding from his eyes
exactly,
to
this
that.
gaunt
Yeah.
guy to, like, I'm this handsome guy that just happened to, like, shave the top of my head.
And then everybody starts attacking him, including the little weird
boy.
kid.
And the mom tracks him down again. It's like, all right, I told you, if I find you again, I'm gonna eat you. And she
Bites
does.
his head off. And then Suichi wakes up from a dream.
yeah. It's like we cut to young Suichi waking up from a dream, and we see his friends outside like playing and having fun, and he's like, "Oh, this is this weird premonition that I had, where I would like torture my friends and like have this weird carnival, more or less." It's like, boy, that sure was a strange dream. That's kind of it.
So, okay, so wait. Isn't Soichi the kid in the first one
Uh,
who gets eaten by the kid?
no. Suichi was
Yeah.
the carnival barker. We might be using the wrong name here, but
No.
this kid that she found is the carnival barker.
Oh, this is the brother who ran away. This is the guy from the second one. That's who that, right?
Yeah. This guy is one of the friends at the end.
Okay.
The kids in these ones are not connected, but
No, I think, isn't this kid Skoichi?
oh, the brother. That might be the case. Yeah, I guess maybe they were all one family, but
Oh, Satoshi.
yeah, Satoshi. Okay.
And then this is...
I should mention it on that page. Like when the friends are like, oh, he's still asleep. Let's not wake him. Let's eat our food. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Siochi. So they might just have similar names.
They do.
That's why.
So wait, okay, so
So here, let me turn back this page.
Did you get it? I don't.
Yeah.
Can you explain
so
it?
this kid here is the dark twisted one. Starts dabbling in dark arts. Shoots out nails. And ends up having that weird baby shark, right, with the wife.
Yeah.
He becomes the carnival barker in the first page, in the first story, right?
Yeah.
And then the next one is his like family or friends. The girl was one of his friends who was searching for him because like they went missing, and the other kids like was that long-haired dude that was attacking them. So like she was trying to like break the spell on them, right? Like just trying to like hunt him down and like be like, hey, you know, stop being like his weird like Igor, basically. Like, you know, remember that you're a human or whatever. Like that we used to be friends, and like you used to like live and
But wait,
laugh.
so is this like... I don't care. I'm focusing so much on it. Okay, Soichi's beloved pet.
So this one is basically, again, we cut to these people, except this time they find a cat.
And this is the family that was in the picture,
Exactly, yeah.
yeah.
And so, like,
Colin, right?
this,
Is the name
like-
of the cat? Doesn't it have like,
Like
weird...
this was the old woman in the haunted house. Like that was the old, that was the dad who was like in the river of like, hey, check,
Okay.
check out my kid's haunted house. So yeah, like they were a family. Yeah, creepy. I don't get the nails. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I'm misremembering it, but I don't get why there's the nails. I mean, this one, you could probably kind of skim through a bit, but I mean, like, they get a family cat. It's this nice, loving cat. Soichi basically starts kind of like tormenting and torturing it, and even like one of the family members is like, hey, like, isn't that like this first sign of like a serial killer, right? Of like, don't people who like torture animals, aren't they like gonna turn out bad? Like, shouldn't we stop him? Like, we've got to like, you know, make him snap out of it now, or otherwise he's gonna become a bad person later on in life. Spoiler alert, that happens.
And he starts cursing the damn thing.
Yeah, he starts cursing like the family members, cursing the cat. Like I mentioned in my quote here of.
Oh, is this where...
They have no exactly, yeah. They have no idea this all due to my masterful curse. Like yeah, he starts trying to curse them and you know,
It's totally
showing
like
off like
taking
his
shape.
the dark arts that he's learned. So he gets a dead snake and he plays with the dead snake with the cat to try and like he basically makes the cat like fall for him, like he says that like the cat has become my slave now. So the cat went from like hating Suichi to like only ever spending time with Suichi. He starts like bringing him like, you know, that huge centipede as like a gift. The cat starts like tearing up the walls of the house. Exactly. It's like, yeah, the cat's never done this. Why is he doing this now? That was a cool panel. Like, F that. I don't like spiders and I don't like how it has that many eyes. But apparently he brought him like an insect from hell or whatever he calls it. It's like you got like one of hell's beings.
The insects live in hell.
Family starts seeing that there's all these cat hairs floating around the house. We cut to this like weird like version of the cat that's like becoming monstrous, has like the weird long teeth, and like as he's like rubbing the cat, it's creating like these static shocks.
And look, he's ahead of the curve, man.
Yeah, yeah. When it cut to that, I'm like, it went from something like him wearing the face mask was like, oh man, timely.
Oh, and then the cat electrocutes. It's just so weird.
Yeah, it gets a little zany and silly, and then oh no, the cat's building up too much static electricity, so he like lightning bolts the whole house when he bites Suichi. And also then the lightning
But
bolts.
does it kill Suichi?
No.
Oh no.
Like he's like just like comedy maimed, and then it's like, oh well, the cat also like is back to normal now. Well,
Ugh. God, that was horrible.
like I feel like so like that's the thing is like we mentioned like all three of these are together. Like the first one, the haunted house one, I'm like, wow, this is actually like a cool story. Like that was cool. Like they just wrapped it up. That was nice. And then I feel like they just kept expounding upon like more background stuff that wasn't really necessary, didn't really add to it, and also like lightened the tone of what was kind of like more of a
Pretty
spiritual horror
dark.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So like I feel like it kind of undermined, like retroactively almost undermined the other ones. So now we've got the
Mirror Valley. Yeah, it's this group of friends going through.
Yeah, it's like, you know, somewhere along the bend of a river, like between these two tall mountains, there's a small abandoned village that has a bunch of shards of mirror glass surrounding it, and within the village, a bunch of these mirrors set up. Because it's actually, the town is basically split up into two sides. On either side of the river, there's these two towns, both with mirrors facing each other, and they're trying to figure out why is that? Like, what is this? What happened in this town? Why is it abandoned? And like, what is this mystery of like these big billboards and like stainless steel like reflective surfaces that are like pointing at each other in the river?
Oh.
Ooh, tell me the mystery of those hips.
Oh, hip hop,
Jeez.
hippity hop, the hippity bop to wop.
And to try and figure it out, they basically this research team, they set up a mirror on either side of the village, and the head researcher takes a telescope, looks into the mirror, and whoosh is flashed into the past, and now we get basically the exposition of what happened in this village, which seemed kind of
What did you give it, a 3?
Give it a 3.
What the hell is with you and your grading? All these need to drop down by 1 except for your 5s. I'll give you the ones you said are 5s, I'll give 5s.
I feel like there was something redeeming in this one, I think. So, long and short of it is, we get it boils down to a Romeo and Juliet situation of, there were these two clans, they have this ability with their...
This was it was a Murky chapter.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Oh my god, he's out of ideas. I've only read 2 of his books.
2 Romeo and Juliet stories, Mr. Ito?
Shakespeare only wrote 1.
So he's twice as good as Shakespeare. Once was like this unified clan they were like driven out by like normal society because like they have this ability of with their gaze they're able to like stare at somebody that they hate, and that person becomes like physically uncomfortable and can like feel like their stare and their glares and their hate. So that kind of like drove them out of normal society. But then once they kind of settled in this town, like there was a rift within their clans, they didn't agree upon each other, so they basically broke off into the 2 towns, like the left side and the right side. And the leftigans hate the rightigans, because, you know, of
Left
course.
and right.
Exactly, yeah, we're right, you're wrong.
We're right, you're left.
Exactly, yeah, better right than left. And so these 2 you know, star-crossed lovers like Romeo and Juliet like are from opposite sides of the towns, but they fall for each other, and their love is forbidden because like, oh, you're from the left, you can't be there. Oh, you're from the right, you can't be with him. They run off. They commit suicide by like within the river, and they kind of then haunt the town by like these like watery apparitions appear in the river every night, and like basically make love, and they're like passionately kissing, and like everybody's booing it from the shoreline because like, oh hey, you know, lefty, you shouldn't be with that righty.
But why? What was the mirrors? Why did they say the mirrors? To the reflection because they're staring.
Pointed back, like, yeah, if you're staring at us, well, now the mirror's pointing back at you, so you're just like hurting yourself. And then yeah, like the guy's like, oh wow, that was a weird story, and he cuts out to it, and he sees like himself in the mirror giving like this hateful glare. And then it's like, oh wow, we all see ourselves in there. The mirror shatters, they shatter. I guess we'll never find out what happened in that valley.
You give that a 3?
You know, upon reflection, John.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's why I give
That's
it a 3.
why I keep you on the payroll, Mike. That shit like that,
Uh-huh.
dog. I wouldn't even want to work here.
What do we got next?
I don't want to be a ghost. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, we can speed through this one.
No, I'm not in a rush. My mom was just texting
Okay.
me. She was just saying goodnight to me. She's just being a mom.
I call this
That's
one
okay.
Ghost Eater. I gave this one a 3, I think.
Would you call it ghost eater? Yeah, so I don't want to be a
I was gonna
ghost.
say this one maybe it could also be a 2. I don't know. A guy is you're remembering this one? Guy is driving down a dark forest as he's wont to do. He's like, I hate driving down dark forest roads. You're likely to see a ghost.
She says chick.
He sees a ghost, or what looks like a ghost to him. It's this like girl who's not talking. She's covered in blood, like staring off into the distance, unresponsive. He decides to like, bring her into the car and drives her off to the hospital, and hopes that they're able to help her and take care of her. They say that they were like kind of able to help. They keep him for questioning because like, why is she covered in blood? What's going on? The guy goes home to his wife or fiance or whatever, and it's like, boy, that sure was weird. I hope everything is okay.
And he's like, it's not her blood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Next day,
She shows up.
She shows up at his house, looking all
Pretty
well
hot.
and done, and trying to thank him for what he did. It's like, oh, you sure helped me. I appreciate that. Oh, by the way, here's my number, and slips him her number, like, even though he's in front of like the wife and everything like that, saying like, I'd like to see you again. Here's my number. And that quickly turns into a torrid love affair of he goes out and sees her like off
And her explanation just doesn't make sense. She's like, I was filming an independent movie and I got left behind,
Yes,
so I
that's
was
right,
stuck.
that's right, yeah,
So
you're
why
right.
weren't you responding to
Yeah, I was
anything?
like, yeah, why didn't you talk to me? Yeah, so like she was in like, she gives like a half-ass response for it. Which one? First red flag. This all could have been avoided if this man looked at the red flags. Yeah, also like her being so eager to have the affair. Second red flag, sir. But he also falls for it. Like he starts like willfully like seeing her because he's like, oh, you're interesting. Like you're this weird like attractive girl that like like had this weird interesting life in his eyes. And she starts explaining like, oh well, I like you because you're guarded, but you have so many guardian spirits around you. And he's like, oh, haha, that's sure that's funny. What do you mean by that? Third red flag, sir. When a girl says that you actually can see ghosts around you, just get out of there, my man. She talks about how like when she was born, like her mother died, I think in childbirth, and she would have been orphaned, but the spirit of her mother like literally like breastfed her and nursed her to health and kept her alive. She's like, so I've always been like kept alive by ghosts.
She's guts, dude. She was born from her mother's dead body.
Exactly, yeah, female guts.
And so she's basically like that. She needs to be around. She needs the substance of ghosts.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she was breastfed goat milk. Ghost milk.
Ghost milk, yeah, not goat milk.
I'm gonna totally order a latte with ghost milk tomorrow.
Exactly, yeah,
And they're gonna be like,
say.
what did you say? I'm gonna be like, I said goat milk. And they're gonna be like, we don't have goat milk. And I'm gonna be like, I said oat milk. And it's gonna be real awkward. It's gonna go from ghost to oat real
And then you
quick.
start talking about how you can see the barista's guardian spirits.
Yeah.
She'll
She'll be like, what the hell did you say? And I'll be like, I said a double shot. Get to it, girl.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
Empty.
so then like, yeah.
So,
Keep talking.
Keep that stretching. So, they stay the night at the hotel. Adultery continues. Because like, oh crap, I overslept. My wife is gonna kill me. The wife isn't gonna. And he wakes up and he turns to her and she's covered in blood again. Just unresponsive in bed, covered in blood. I was like, boy, that sure is weird, but I've got to go home to my wife.
And
So he
she's
runs
all
home.
pregnant.
Exactly, yeah. His pregnant wife is like, where were you? Where were you tonight? Why didn't you pick up your phone? What's going on? He gives a half-assed response. He gets a buzz on his phone. Who's texting you at this hour? A friend. And right, and then at this point he tries to like cut off the affair. He's like, hey, we probably shouldn't be doing this. My wife is getting wise to this. This isn't smart. We can't do this anymore. And then when he gets home, he sees his wife talking with, his mistress, his ghost mistress. And the wife is like, she told me everything. I can't believe you do this to me. Brandishes a knife at him, but then she ends up turning it on herself.
Brandish
so
the knife.
She ends up stabbing herself, killing her, and then also killing the baby. Um,
And then he's still having the affair with the chick, I guess.
I guess, I mean, like, it all.
Oh, yeah.
Or no, wait, no. This does go on for a while. Yeah, that's right. Because I was gonna say this all happened so fast, but no, like, time has passed. But she's like, well, I know you, you know me. I guess we're gonna be together. Um, but it turns out that the girl ends up staying with him because she could see the spirits of his wife and child like following with him, and she says like she eats these spirits like to stay alive. And we see her like jump out and lash on and like grab
Take a bite.
something out of the air, take a bite, blood spurts everywhere. And we see her covered in blood and in like a weird
Oh, and it's you, Annie.
frenzy. And then yeah, like he ends up going crazy by it because the idea being that like, in like Japan, like having guardian spirits like means that you're kind of like lucky and like they're trying to protect you and guide you in life. So he starts basically having a downfall in his life because like all of his like his guardian angels are basically dead. So like as such like he starts having bad luck. So like he loses out on his job, obviously his wife and kids. He becomes homeless, destitute, living on the streets, becomes sick and ill, living in the hospital.
Give this one a 3, man.
We'll amend that to a 2. But this is like knocking my my overall score to back down to like being a 6 out of 10, and I don't know if it's that. I'd still maybe bump it up to a 7 overall, but yeah, like that one.
I guess this one wasn't terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Like it was, again.
It was no number 2.
Interesting concept, but again, this guy should have avoided this. Like he should have known the red flags, right? Like he could.
Bro, this gets a 1. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm.
If that one's staying at 3, this gets a 1.
Yeah, we'll finagle the points overall elsewhere, but
Library Vision Quest.
Yeah, library. I like this one. I gave it a 4.
Yeah, you gave it a 4.
It was cool. Maybe I saw myself in this guy. The collecting books. So in the library we have a husband and wife.
Guy reads every book in his collection. What a twat.
Yeah, I just buy them. I don't actually read them. But they live in this big mansion that is literally covered like floor to ceiling in every room.
And his name is Goro.
That's right. Yeah, he had 4 arms. Covered floor to ceiling in books, and they were inherited books from his father. And he is kind of obsessive about them. Like he goes around, he reads all of them. Like he says that he claims that he's read all of the books like 3 times through, and just kind of like systematically goes through and reads them. And again, very protective of them to the point where like when his wife took one of the books out, not only does he immediately notice it, he starts demanding, like, where is it? Like, what happened to it? There's this book.
Wait, you know what? This made me think of me, actually. Where was the line? If Goro had even a spare second, he would go around and check the shelves in the mansion. That makes me feel like when I go and just, like, spruce up the epic collections, once a day. And because sometimes jerks go over there and put, like, waterproof Aquaman books on the epic shelf, and it pisses me off.
Kind of a person would do that, or knock it onto the floor. But yeah, so he's very protective and obsessive about this collection. His wife still loves him though, and is like, oh, like I understand, like, he's just kind of going through a phase. But he wakes up in the middle of the night, like tormented by the dreams of like not being able to find the book. He stays up at night, like losing sleep, trying to find out what happened in the book that his wife borrowed. Is it this one? I believe where he claims to actually have had like the character from the book like visit him in the night.
He can't find the one book. That's what it is.
Yeah. So she returned it. Life goes on, and then again it happens where this time.
Well, he has the dream. Well, he has the dream where he can't find the book.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And then he can't find the one that she read, even though she gave it back.
Yeah, it was like this like romance novel that he couldn't find anymore.
Another book is missing.
Yeah, exactly. There's another book, the Twisted Tales or whatever it's called. Twisted Nails, I think it actually was.
No, Spiny Hell.
Spiny Hell.
Tanio Akasabi.
Spiny Hell, yeah. More on that one later, because I definitely dug it. But he kind of like passes out from like, again, like lack of sleep, lack of taking care of himself, and she you know, puts him to bed, but also realizes like, oh well, I'm gonna, now that he's passed out, like I've got this key to like these journals that he kept locked away, and she finds out about his past and how I believe it was the father collected a bunch of books, and you know like was obsessed about his collection, and then like the wife ended up leaving him for another man, and that kind of drove the dad insane to the point where he started going crazy and obsessively having to like read every book in his collection and memorizing them. And
he would like torture the kid with like
Yeah.
reading horror novels to it.
yeah, it's like, you know, memorize these lines, kid, and that, you know, obviously tormented this child. But the mom would also like read to him, but you know, in kind of more of a loving way. She would read to him that romance novel that he was looking for that was lost.
Yeah, and then he comes like he awakens from his like slumber, I guess, and he says that he found that book, The Renee of the Winter, and that she visited him
Yeah.
last night. The doorbell rang, and it was her,
Exactly.
and she recited the whole book to him, so
from-
he
from
knew it was
cover to
really
cover.
her.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, his mental state continues to deteriorate, and he basically starts kind of taking after his dad in some ways, because he's like, well, now I've got to memorize these books. Oh yeah, he was also visited then by Spiny Hells, the embodiment of this horror book that the dad used to read to him to like scare him. Just by again like reciting the book from cover to cover, and so now the husband realizes like, well, for me to beat this curse, I've got to like memorize every book, because then I could, you know, what is it? He scares them away by being able to recite it from cover to cover. Is that how it like breaks the curse of that book?
I don't know. What the hell was all the cuts from again? Oh, yeah.
Starts maiming himself. Yeah, maybe this one wasn't as good as I remembered it. I definitely liked it though, because like, I don't know, just the concept. Maybe for me, I think the main thing was during this, like when he's like reciting books or having the books be recited back
How
to
does it
him.
resolve, though? He sets it on fire, he
No,
dies with it.
So he basically memorizes everything, and then like becomes like in a trance-like state. The wife ends up burning down the house because she's like, I've got to, you know, like free him from this. He ends up accidentally dying in that too, because like he was knocked out, but like the fire spread too quickly. She couldn't save him. The house, you know, husband is gone. House is ruined. You know, if only he had memorized his journals, he would have remembered some sort of humanity in his life, and he could have been saved. But it was too late, so I guess he's dead. They're like, well, we should tell, you know, the last remaining person in the family, who was, you know, the actual husband, the father. And she's like, don't worry about it. He's already crazy. So we cut to him in like, you know, some mental institution where he's just crazy, slumped over and laughing.
Wait, what happened here again?
They burned down the house.
No, I know. The house burned, but then, like...
I think that's where she explains, like, you know, she couldn't save him because, like, the fire spread too quickly.
No, but she's like, what about your husband's family? And then this guy's like, oh, them?
No, I think she's like, oh, them. Am I crazy? Weird. What does he say next?
What about your husband's family? Oh, them?
Uh-huh. I know. At the top
His
there.
father's in a hospital in a neighboring town. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the guy.
Weird. Maybe they're just neighbors that knew. That part, I guess I didn't catch that was somebody else saying it, but yeah, either way, they know that the dad is, you know, in a hospital elsewhere, because he is just like institutionalized, because he went crazy from all the books. I really liked that what was it, Twisted Hells? What was the name of the book? Spiny Hells?
Yeah, Spiny Hell.
I liked. So again, like the personification of the book was actually like reading to him, like it was like reciting chapters. I'm like, man, that's a cool looking book. Like that felt very like Lovecraftian, like the way in which like the sentences that he was creating. So I think maybe that's why, like deep down within me, I was like, man, I'd love to actually read that book. That sounds like a cool one.
You always like the books inside the books we read more than the books we read. All right, Splendid Shadow Song.
This one we could probably skim through pretty quick. Upon reflection, I don't know if I like this one as much either.
Would you give it a 3?
A 3? It could have been closer to 2. There's a girl who runs into a performer on the street,
performer, yeah.
who is like singing off key, screaming this like weird song about "I hate you," you know, leave me alone. I don't want you anymore. Leave me. She's like, man, that was a weird song. I'm gonna go on with my day. And as she's going on through her day, the song is stuck in her head, and it starts kind of driving her crazy. Man, we just jump to the end there. Yeah. What, Johnny? You got some things to say about this one?
This was horrible, dude.
That one you. So okay, so it's definitely not as bad as the second one.
No, it's like on par with it. That's what I
say-
was thinking. Like it is because it's like basically like more mind control stuff.
Yeah. Like the gist of this one is this girl, the performance artist, the one who was initially singing, then actually kind of like in the second one had a rise to fame. Like her song was like losing, it was making people like, you know, entranced by it. Like they couldn't get the song out of their head too, but they kind of hated it, and like it was driving people crazy. And she ends up, what was it? She killed herself on stage. Was that what it was?
Yeah, like bash your head.
Or yeah, like she went crazy on stage, like during her like big tour of people who like kind of hated her song. And then she explains that her boyfriend from a while back was like this great musician who loved her very much, but she wouldn't love him back. And he ended up killing himself. And like writing a song about how much he hated her, and that drove her crazy. So she was like stuck with that song, and she couldn't get out of her head. So I think she felt that by almost like passing it on to somebody else, they would get the curse. And then we go to the sound doctor, and he tries to get it out of her head by like playing like the opposite tones within her head to like cancel it out and silence it, and it works for a moment, but then it ends up going too far and driving her like full on crazy, to the point of like her head starts like breaking open, and like the spirits of the sound come out. Yeah, I guess upon actually saying it. But that was some cool images. Like that right there is like, that's like, that would be like a great like band poster for like your band of like, here's this lady with sound posting on her mind.
The research continues.
At least someone had, yeah, I was gonna say kind of a resolution, but maybe not. But hey, Johnny, you know what this next one's called?
Smashed.
Smash. And this one's actually really dope.
Numero cinco. Or I mean, sorry, number 13, but gets a 5.
It's a 5. Again, there's a reason that the book is named after this one. Because it was actually pretty interesting and kind of clever. And in some way kind of foreshadowed itself like right before the end. But we have these two gentlemen sitting in a room behind this like huge jar, and in the jar is this honey, this nectar, this liquid that scraggly haired gentleman says that he got in South America. He visited this like very remote village, and they had what they called this nectar, and it is like the best, sweetest, like just greatest tasting thing he's ever had, but it's like very difficult for them to get. So there's small quantities, but once you taste this, like you'll never want anything else. Oh, there's one caveat. The villagers say that if anybody like notices you eating it, bad stuff will happen. And the guy like looking at us like, oh, well, thanks for sharing that story with me. It's like, can I have a taste? No, this is all I have. This is mine.
So good, divine. Look at those. Look at that. Like that hairstyle, man, and those.
Yeah, the bowl cut that the guy has. But yeah,
This
so
bread is awful, especially compared to that nectar.
So he let the bowl cut guy have like a taste of it, and the guy's like, wow, this is insane. This is divine. Can I have more? He's like, no, that's all that I've got. Like,
right.
Beat it, kid.
OG's a stingy bastard, man. He's
Yeah.
got that good nectar.
And he realizes like, yeah, like food doesn't taste as good anymore. I've got to get more of it. And he tells his friends, and they don't believe him, but they come along with him to try and check it out for themselves. So they break into the guy's apartment one day, and they find the jar, and they all taste from it, and they're all like, yep,
Best nectar ever,
thing
man.
we've ever had. You were right. What we're gonna do is we're gonna steal this and we're gonna divvy it up 5 ways. Oh, by the way, where is that Goro or whatever his name was?
Smells like something rotting. Yeah, that's not the smell of nectar. The other room, maybe.
Yep.
She goes in the other room.
And bam. Splat.
What is that?
Yeah, hell
Is
yeah.
that blood? Blood? Then what's this crush thing?
What is this smash thing? So first off, that's a great splash page, and I'm like, all right. Yeah, jeez, that's a great smash page, and I was like, all right, well, this book is definitely picking up. I'm like where this is going. Give me more. On their way out, well, they realize, yeah, that is the guy because of like the leather jacket and like it's like, oh, that's his T-shirt.
Yeah, the clothes they can tell him by.
They're like, well, let's get out of here, man. Let's beat it. But on the way out, they find a map. So keep that in the back of your mind. But they get out of there. They divvy it up 5 ways, and they're all just kind of like.
Was that really OG? Nah, just some kind of new painting. And so they divvy up the rest of the nectar like evenly because it was that good.
And it's so good. Yeah, they're eating. Like at the bottom panel, they're just all kind of eating, talking like.
Where in South America did they get this delicious nectar? Don't know. OG didn't really know either.
It's so good.
A gas explosion. Where'd Yasmina go?
But yeah, just out of nowhere, suddenly, one of the guys gets completely splattered up against the wall. I don't know. I felt like this would be like a great one to like see like a live action of because it just happens like even just on the paper. It feels like it just happened so suddenly. Like
that is true.
They're just all sitting around.
But
like,
they're all like, "Hey, hang in." That's just weird. Their reactions.
they're like weird, like almost like stoners. Like they're just like. It's like it's not really like affecting them. They're just like, whoa, man, that was weird. Was there a gas leak? I don't know. Is he okay? I'm like, nope.
Why would they both be smashed flat?
I mean, I guess the reasoning could be that like they're kind of going crazy, like not necessarily from the nectar itself, but also like they're not really eating right. Like they're only eating this stuff. Like so like maybe they're just obviously not in like the right state of mind. But yeah, they very much take like your buddy getting completely like gooified up against the wall like pretty easily.
And well, then they're like, well, this can't be real. This must be a dream. Then they're like, well, the nectar must be a dream too. Like we should just have some.
Yeah, like I think it's like some almost like some drug addict type like, mentality of like they're just like completely out of it. They go outside, you know, have a little bit more.
But they keep saying flat, like she's dead and smashed. Like why do they keep calling it flat?
You're like all covered in like her blood and guts and hair. Like you know, are you guys
nectar.
Okay?
When you eat the nectar, you get smashed.
Yeah, just don't let anybody see you. But they're like, how do we see? I was like, I was looking at you, but like, what actually makes it right? So they just like keep wandering around the city like with their jars of goo.
No one notices you eating.
And what is it? Do they go to the river just yet, or am I?
No, it's well, the other dude eats some of his, so he blows up or smashes, and then so it's like it's down to just 2 of them, and they can't even eat anymore because everything is just so terrible compared to the nectar, basically, and so like they don't know what to do. So
yeah, they meet up with their buddy who's like, yeah, I passed it off to some friends. They ate it, and I think they died too.
Yeah, but wait, where did that guy come from?
No, he was one of the friends. Like I think that's the girl, and they're like leaving the body. They're like, all right, well we gotta get out of here. Like this is getting weird.
Oh, you're right. I was looking at like he exploded right after. Yeah, no. Okay, so yeah, he comes back.
Yeah, he had passed some off to his friends. They had died. Like he, I think, tried to go like cold turkey to some degree too. And as they're eating, yeah, the dude just like chugs all of his. The guy that we think is the main character too, like he's just sipping on that, and then whap, splattered on like the side of the street there. And she's like, wait a minute, I saw something happen right before he died. Something, you know, like came from the sky and hit him, and she starts going crazy, eating that and being like, you know, like, all right, well, I'm just gonna go out here. It's so good, I'll be okay in the water. I could eat it in the water. And right when she takes a bite, he looks up to the sky and sees something appear, and then whap.
But I don't get it. So like, you just can't be there's a way to live even if you are noticed. You don't have to be crushed.
Yeah, I mean, she's kind
Just
of going
run
crazy.
around, yeah.
And she's also wrong because like she tries to go to the
Yeah.
water. She's like, that'll be fine there. And she gets just like liquefied in the water from slapping. He goes crazy, and he finds one of the friend's wallets, and in his wallet he had that map. So he just kind of like goes on his own expedition to South America to try and hunt down the village of where he gets the food. Also, real quick, go back a page.
Yeah.
I think here's where they kind of foretell everything that's happening.
I can't forget to have to make people how not to be noticed.
What happens? So he goes into the forest and he sees this weird this weird tree with these like appendages, just like wailing around in the wind, flapping around, slapping. He's like, oh, this must be where they have the goop. Oh, surely one bite won't be wrong. Wham. Smashed. Thank you, Junji Ito.
She gets smashed by the plant, huh?
Uh-huh. I mean, it's obviously like very much a metaphor or, allegory for mosquitoes. Because the whole thing of, like them biting us and, as long as they don't get noticed, they get that sweet nectar, like the great stuff that they need. But if they get noticed, we just slap them.
And you give that a 5.
It's the name of the book, Johnny. It's good.
Uzumaki was better.
You're not wrong.
What's your favorite? Is it Uzumaki? What's your favorite Junji Ito story?
Well, his like longer form stories, yeah, it's definitely Uzumaki. His short form ones is
that
probably
other book you wanted.
yeah. We don't have it here. I think I'll probably have to bring mine. I'm pretty sure I've got mine at home. It's called the Enigma of Amigara Fault.
Okay.
That one is like some peak Junji Ito. It has like an amazing or an iconic ending. There's another one that's also in the same Gyo 3-in-1. So Gyo is like a longer form story, but it has like 2 shorter ones at the end of it. And then that's like the sad tale of the principal post. That one is more of a comedic one, but I really like that one a lot too. So I think those are probably my 2 favorite short story ones from Junji Ito that we've read so far. Like I really like the haunted house one too. There was some fun stuff in there. Like
The first one was the best.
exactly,
one,
but then I'm like I almost don't like it as much anymore because I feel like the later stories definitely kind of like undermined it a little bit. Like we found out more stuff that we didn't need to know. I don't know, but and Smash was cool. I feel like Smash would have made like for a like kind of like cooler like live action thing. Like just seeing like the special effects of that, like and like this how suddenly it happens too, like would be a fun like short film. And then obviously when they equate it to being like mosquitoes, I thought that was kind of clever. But
you liked it a lot, huh? That's cool. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
dogging on you. I just I didn't.
what would you say your favorite one of these ones was?
Maybe the third one, right?
Third one was Haunted House.
No.
Or
The
Earthbound?
flood. Oh no, the flood one was okay. Now what else did you give? Yeah. Okay. What are we reading next week, buddy?
Behind you, Venus in the. So that's more Junji Ito. I assume we'll pass on that one. I just had those as options. That one is Venus in the Blind Spot.
Does this one have an ending?
Yeah. If you want to grab those and display them out real quick, let me run in the back. I might have one more book, but let me double check.
Oh. Yeah,
You can
that's
also
right.
take a quick look too.
Yeah, no, I saw that this arrived today. Or we got another copy of this today. Oh yeah, and there's this Marvel Zombies. Kind of just want to figure out what the hell's going on. Well, I really want to read The Long Halloween, but I almost feel like it's going to be the best one. We should just wait till Halloween. Just read it then. Like, that should be the week of. Man, this artwork looks phenomenal. I know some people don't dig it, but I like the Jeff Loeb. Or is it Chris Sale? Who's the artist? I think Tim Sale, I'm sorry. Tim Sale's probably the artist, probably the Tim Sale artwork. It's very, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of the animated series. It's very noir. I really dig that part. Oh, man. I kind of feel like we should save this till
I
the
was
week
gonna
of
say,
Halloween.
that has to be the last
yeah,
one, yeah.
I really do. I can't wait to fucking read this thing, man. I gotta get that damn omnibus. Why did I sold the omnibus to get the trade paperbacks?
Mm-hmm.
What a stupid decision. Stupid.
Halloween. So yeah, I feel like Long Halloween we like have to like put a pin until the last week.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So like I still had likely stories was like short stories, but this one's almost too short. I feel like we'd have to pair that up with something.
We could just talk about it more if
That's
what
fair.
you want to read.
Neil Gaiman. Lock and Key.
Yeah, that's pretty popular, no? Or it had
Yeah,
a show?
yeah. The Netflix TV show that came out like
This is the first
mid
one?
last year. Yeah, that's book one. I forget how many issues are actually.
So is it the whole story then?
No. There is there's like 10 volumes I think of the hardcovers. Or
shit,
6 or
really?
7, and then like some later stuff too. We've got them all at the store here, but Lock and Key. It's pretty neat.
No, I want to read Marvel Zombies next week because I don't want to read it. So like, I feel like we should like do something like that. It's written by Kirkman, and I really do like Robert Kirkman.
Yeah, Marvel Zombies Volume 1.
It's the only Marvel thing we got, right?
I was gonna say yeah, like
It's not many
it
Halloween
was the
themed
point where like
things, yeah,
like
for-
I couldn't really think of anything offhand, so like I took to the internet and like just searched around like what are some like famous Marvel like horror / Halloween stories. The list like wasn't that great, and then like the one that was on all of them was like Marvel Zombies. So I'm like, all right, well, it's in the name. Didn't Marvel had like the copyright to the name Zombies for a while there too? I think like you couldn't use zombies without. Yeah, there's something weird like that. Maybe if we do choose this, I'll try and look that up a little bit more. But
Really?
yeah, it was something weird like that where they had like a copyright on the term zombies. Should we do that one? I thought we also had. I don't know if we had Volume 2 over there. Volume 2 just came in, but should we go for that for this next week?
Wait, what did you say just now?
I think that we have Volume 2 either here or.
Of Marvel
Yeah, yeah.
Zombies. I didn't. Yeah. No, we should pick this. We should read it.
Sounds good. You're already looking at the end. Oh no, that's the
No,
cover,
I'm looking
cover
at the cover
gallery. I was
gallery,
gonna say, Turns out there are zombies. God damn it! Now I can't read this.
I don't know how interesting this could be. Well, we're gonna find
Yeah,
out.
yeah, we will. They can't all be winners. And in fact, this one actually might be interesting too because the next episode will be episode 25, and if this one's not that long, maybe we'll have a recap of maybe what were your top 3, bottom 3.
Yeah, we
of the
should
first
definitely
25.
do that.
We'll do a little bit of a.
I already
kind of,
know what my bottom one is, and I think it's gonna be the same as yours.
Yeah, we're gonna.
It was so
this-
bad.
Yeah, we'll get right at it. Yeah, we'll figure it out, and also hopefully by then, I'm waiting on one more pin. It was a Berserk one. I had another one. I think it's coming from Canada. I think it's what's taking so long.
I feel like that was the only one that I was really like. I struggled to get through it. I fucking hated it.
Yeah, we probably won't be doing.
Another Tom King book, ever.
Yeah.
Alright.
Strange Adventure looks like it's the same kind of thing too. Like it's very much the similar stuff. I mean,
Well,
the
I
fact
know
that social-
WandaVision's gonna be the WandaVision equivalent of that.
Yeah.
I know it is.
Strange Academy, or holy,
Whoops.
Strange Adventures. The fact that it also has the same artist, I think, like
Oh.
led to that too. Where I'm like, I was getting
No,
flashbacks.
didn't
I'm like,
dig that.
it was kind of like interesting art, but then like seeing it like in that context. So I think that one we're kind of throwing away. But yeah, WandaVision was at least a different artist. So I think maybe they'll like, maybe.
You know what? The
Fix on it.
closer that the WandaVision show is gonna come out,
Oh yeah. I was
wanna
thinking
read
we were
it.
saving
I
it for that. Yeah, 'cause
guarantee I'll wanna read it
also in
then.
there we got a bunch of restocks on the Vision, all things Vision. So,
yeah, I saw that actually.
so we'll have stuff ready for that. But
Yeah, man, you know what? I gotta quit being so selfish, and I gotta go on Diamond and like actually find stuff I think would be good for the store instead of just for my wall at home.
exactly.
Well, no,
that's
I get
how
the
we do it.
epics for the store because I think that's the
Yeah,
way
I mean
to
that's
go,
that's
man.
what I do too. Is like every so often like somebody will come in and like be like, oh hey, do you have this? I'm like, no, I guess we don't. Like I guess sometimes we miss some stuff, or other times like it may be like we're actually waiting on it like for why don't you have that Berserk Volume 3? Well, we're waiting on it. It should be in soon. But yeah, just like I do that every once in a while too. I'm like thinking like what are some stuff that I've read, or like what's some stuff that's coming out in like media or things that we should probably carry at the stores. So we'll be doing that.
You've been really on your anime game since we
Hell yeah, man.
decided to expand that.
I'm gonna have to tomorrow I'm gonna have to sit down and try and refinagle the whole anime section to make some more room.
Manga. You know, the thing is, I think I like. Well, I corrected myself because what I was about to say wouldn't make sense if I didn't. That I think that my problem is I actually think I like anime more than manga. So I have more anime recommendations. There's no Cowboy Bebop manga. We have we have this. We have the Dragon Ball manga. We have the whole thing. It hasn't sold. That's my favorite thing. We have Berserk already. We have Hellsing. These are all the ones I like. So I don't know if I could really add more. My Hero Academia.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely have the main beats.
But I like the show more than the book for that one for sure.
And that's that's totally there. But yeah. And then the manga stuff, I usually go weirder. That's why we were just talking about it. Nick mentioned that the manga section when I started working was it was just 6 books. It was 6 books. Yeah, it was the number one of My Hero Academia and just a couple random books. And then I just went through and I'm well, it literally started kind of like you mentioned there too of I loved Junji Ito in high school. So I'm hey, I wonder if they have books of these, or I would love to get the Uzumaki hardcover. So I ordered that, and then I ordered I think one or two other ones for the store. And then when people would come in and ask about manga, I'm well, we don't have that much, but we do have Junji Ito. I don't know if you've heard of him. Hey, here's this, and I would just I feel I had started this start this rise in Junji Ito acceptance and interest.
There's been a huge spike of Junji Ito books in Niles, Illinois.
Yeah, and then it's funny too because not long after he starts becoming super popular. I mean, obviously I didn't do it, but I kind of did. But he had the TV show 2 years later, and just you could get T-shirts as we saw Hot Topic has Junji Ito T-shirts and stuff like that. So he's definitely become more of a household name, which I definitely big ups to him. It's it's not a sellout thing. He's certainly earned it. There's, as we saw some here interesting art. Maybe he may draw the same faces for guys and girls pretty often, but and hey,
a lot of Simpsons characters look the same.
The stories aren't all that great, but for what he does, when he does knock out of the park, it's definitely memorable if nothing else. So
yeah, that kid was creepy in the haunted house one for
sure. Hell yeah, like I said, you Google Junji Ito, Google it, and that'll be one of the first top 10 images that'll pop up for you. I dare you to find it. But yeah, I think that should just about do it then, right, Johnny?
Good enough for me.
So that solves that. Next week,
Marvel Zombies. Can't believe I'm reading that. Never thought I would do that.
Yeah, there's also that Marvel Zombies Tales that came out the other week. Maybe I'll read that too, because that has the. So what actually comes in? This is just Marvel Zombies 1.
I think it had.
Or sorry, 1 through 5. That's upside down. Cool art. Marvel Zombies 1 through 5, the short story. But in that Marvel Zombies Tales that came out the other week, it had Fantastic Four, Ultimate Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that's what the covers were for.
Yeah, I think that has a story that leads into it. So I might read that too ahead of time, just to kind of see if it was something that happened in the Fantastic Four that led into this. Yeah, it definitely sounds good. And we have some of this. We'll show it off next week too. Next Tuesday we'll show off all the Marvel Zombie stuff that we've got. But yeah, that's just about do it for us. I know we ran a little bit later today, but we also started later, so
yeah,
we got nowhere to go. We like talking about Junji Ito. So thanks everybody for coming out. Hope you have a good rest of your night. We'll see you next week to talk about Marvel Zombies. The day might change. We'll probably talk about on Tuesday as to whether we'll be doing Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah,
but Johnny and I were discussing maybe having a different day other than Wednesday. So we might do it on next Thursday too, but we'll keep you guys posted. We're also in Discord, pastimes.net/social, facebook.com/pastimes. But you can find our Discord on there, and I post the stuff on there. So if anything happens, we'll probably let them know too. But that'll just about do it for us. So hope you guys have a good rest of your night. We'll see you next Tuesday, and remember, not all heroes wear capes.
Some wear hats.